dialogue with you on the comment section.
Oh, you know what, though? We can't stop the show right now. You know why? We're going to go overtime. I just got some information.
Uh-oh. This is it. Overtime news.
Mike Tyson announces that he will fight Lennox Lewis in September.
Is that okay? There's announced, but is there something signed, location, pay-per-view, numbers? Because I'm giddy, but
here's the quote here. I'm going to fight Lennox Lewis September. Tyson told TMZ cameraman as he entered his vehicle. Mike Tyson is 54 and Lennox Lewis is 55. And then we see a tweet from Lennox Lewis saying, "Do you really want me to dust off these gloves?" And there's a picture and it says, "Training for one more with Mike Tyson."
We're gonna go over, all right.
Yeah, we're got a few minutes here. Got a few minutes. I know we're you know what?
Overtime material.
Overtime here. I don't care. I'm the producer and the director of the show here. Okay, Jorge. We're gonna do this for 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll stop the show.
So a couple episodes back, I mentioned some of the part about being excited about the Liga, the
Liga Champions,
the Legends League that Tyson wanted to do and stuff. And I always said I would have been excited to watch Lennox Lewis get back in the ring.
I'm a big Lennox Lewis fan. He is so underrated in the history of boxing heavyweights.
Yes.
I was not a part of the American douchebaggery that because of the fact that he wasn't from here that we didn't respect him. And that's the problem that we have as Americans here. We don't give
didn't a lot of that stem from the fact that he wasn't fighting in the States though? I'm trying to remember.
He fought in the States a lot though. I mean, like him being a heavyweight champion, I do respect him from going to other countries. Don King had him in Africa.
Yeah.
Of course he fought in I think he fought in Jamaica. He's fought in Canada. He's of course in the UK because of his background, his British background, but out of his like 40 plus fights, he fought a majority of them in the States, though.
Okay, I was trying to.
He's fought a lot overseas, of course. Early in his career by being, Canadian and British, he fought over there. But by the time he got to his prime, man, he was out here, baby. And I will say this too. I will always remember one of the biggest robberies I watched from Lennox Lewis on my freaking birthday, March 13th, 1999, in the basement of my old house. Never forget that Saturday night when he fought Evander Holyfield and mollywopped him for 12 rounds, and somehow Don King paid the judges off to get a freaking draw out of that fight. I never forget being 19 years old saying, I'm not a boxing judge, but I didn't see 6 rounds for Holyfield. How did you pay? I'm trying to figure out how much Don King paid those judges to give 6 rounds to Holyfield that fight. And then what happened though is that they ran that fight back and Lennox Lewis gave him another ass whooping for 12 rounds, man. So I just have to say that I've always been a big Lennox Lewis fan. I've always supported him when Americans didn't support him. And he's one of the few fighters that has avenged every single fighter that he's lost to. Okay. He had a draw against Holyfield, avenged that. He lost to Hasim Rahman, avenged that. Lost to Gerald McClellan and then he came back in the rematch and dude was crying in the ring and he avenged that. So out of all the heavyweight champions, he was undisputed and beat everybody who was in the ring with him.
Was that douchebaggery before he fought the Rahman, or was it afterwards?
It's always been there.
Because okay, so the one thing that I can remember the most about Lennox Lewis that had me had laughing at the time was the interview that he did with Rahman on ESPN, and he freaking blew up. That's why I'm trying to figure out like where this douchebaggery came from, because to me, I don't remember it maybe as vividly as you, but I think it was after that where
the douchebaggery was back in '88 in the Olympics. And even Tyson talks about it because, him and Tyson went back even that far back, as far as how he even talked about how he knew him back then when they were young and things of that nature. But yeah, especially when he became the champion, he had his English accent, and he drink the tea with the pinky finger up, and then he would use words like, it's preposterous.
Oh, so the snobbish appearance from Lennox Lewis with the proper English and stuff was pissing off American fans and stuff.
Yes.
I can see how it could happen that way because you know what? I mean, if you see it to the right person at the right place at the wrong time and have a bigger too, yeah, you might piss off somebody. Like if it was me and you doing that bullshit somewhere. I'm sure we're going to get into it with somebody.
Think about it. If you're a straight home Alabama, U.S. man, straight in the heart of Texas type of dude, and you see Lennox Lewis saying, this is preposterous.
Not even. You get a guy from Chicago, like one of the bars down there and stuff like that. You'd be like, what the hell are you saying on my face?
Yeah, you get a dude from the South Side, like, dude, what? You got this made up accent to get the girls, man?
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you're from the South or you up from the North, you from the hood or not. You say that to the wrong person, on the wrong day, and then you're gonna get something.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the douchebaggery. I think a lot of his personality is what.
And he's not American. Like, here's another thing too. He's black who looks black, but then when he speaks, you hear the accent. So then that's already another knock. Because you see that and it's like, oh, he's black. Maybe he's man, he English. He ain't really one of us.
Exactly. That's just getting it from your own brothers, basically.
Yeah.
So it's I get it. I get the douchebaggery and stuff, but I wouldn't call it purely American. It's just one of those things where
huge,
it's
a huge American bias. I'm not just saying just for Lennox Lewis, but it's just American douchebaggery in general when it comes to other athletes in other countries. Because I've seen so many times where we're just on our high horse and we don't give the respect.
We're not perfect.
We're not. Perfect. I know that,
but
I will own it that we are, especially in boxing, we are douchebags to the other countries.
We are. No,
look, especially during the Klitschko era. Now it wasn't pretty, but they were the best, and we dogged their asses out.
That's why we have Puerto Rican Mexican rivalries in boxing, because we tend to be douchebags. I call it like it is, dude. It's exactly what it is. That douchebag goes as more recent, probably as Canelo going back all the way to Trinidad.
That's the beginning of the time when the slave trade happened, and when the brothers got dropped off in Puerto Rico, and then you got some of the brothers in Mexico, and then when we all finally met up together, and we was like, yo, got dropped off over here, and we got dropped off over here, and that's why we don't like each other. Because some people got dropped off early, some people got dropped off late.
I mean, we settled that bullshit in the ring.
Yeah, and we said, oh, let's get in the ring then. Okay, I was first. Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican. I don't care. Now I'm being facetious, people, but you get it.
But it's exactly what a lot of that is.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest as we close out here with this. I just had I couldn't stop when I saw this here.
You got too giddy.
Yeah. I had to talk. I'm gonna be honest though. I would rather see Holyfield than Lennox Lewis.
I
know it's exhibition. Let me finish this. I know it's exhibition, right? But we knew. I mean, it'd be fun to watch. I mean, we want to see our legends still have what they have, right? And Lennox Lewis, I felt he still had more in the tank. I'm glad that he retired on his own terms. He felt after he got that nasty cut against Klitschko,
Vitaly should have had his ass.
I mean, people, if you want to go back and watch Lennox Lewis last fight,
Klitschko was
that cut could fit into my entire hand. That's how bad it. But you know what though? That's boxing. Even though Vitaly was winning, it was past the fourth round, and that cut was bad enough to stop the fight. And Lennox Lewis threw a punch to open up that cut. So he did what he had to do. But like I said, he retired at that point here. And as much as I'm interested in watching it, it's going to be entertaining. I would rather see Holyfield. And then of course the Holyfield thing could still happen because that he's going to be on the undercard for Teofimo Lopez against the last guy who beat Tyson, which is Peter McNeely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be there. When it comes to Lennox Lewis, I'm a big fan of him. But when we saw Lennox Lewis fight Tyson in 2002, I remember that vividly because I had a hot black box back then. Me and my dad had the illegal bootleg cable, and we had a fight party over. And I never forget Emmanuel Stewart cursing Lennox Lewis out to beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. You got a dead man out there. Beat him up before he knocks you the fuck out. Loved it. And so in the exhibition now, it's just going to be like two guys fighting, but I would see it'll be more competitive against Holyfield. I would say, even though it's exhibition, we will see Tyson, be more competitive. Lennox is going to toy with him. He knows if he really put the work in, he would do what he did to Tyson like he did 19 years ago.
You kind of wish that fight happened a lot sooner.
Yeah.
A lot sooner when
not 2002.
I wanted to see them in their primes and stuff. I think Tyson would be, and this is, I say prior to Holyfield, right? Say if it wasn't Holyfield first, he had fought Lewis. I think he fights Lewis a lot his style and his terms, and it'd be a lot of Lewis having to punch him away and stuff. So,
but you know what though? Timing happens though, because Lewis wasn't ready for Tyson at certain. Lewis became Lewis, later by the end of the 1990 2000s, and Tyson that got out of jail was by the time he fought Holyfield in 97 with the ear bite situation, he wasn't the same guy. And then Lewis, remember, in his heavyweight career, he wasn't the great heavyweight that he was when he lost to like Rockman in that knockout, or McClellan, like the first loss. He was clearly not, it took him getting with Emmanuel Stewart to make Lennox Lewis the Hall of Famer and the great heavyweight that he is today. That transition.
Did he ever fight Riddick Bowe? I'm trying to remember.
No, because Riddick Bowe ducked his ass.
Yes, you're right.
Because if you remember, if you guys want to Google and YouTube this here, that Lennox Lewis was the mandatory, I believe, in 92 or 93, and Lennox Lewis took that WBC belt and put it in the garbage can and said that if you're gonna make me fight, I'm gonna call it the garbage can belt. And then Lennox Lewis said, "Fine, I'm gonna take this garbage can belt," and took it. I mean, I've never seen a more clear duck ever in boxing history. When you have a mandatory and you're like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep these other two belts. I'm gonna throw this third belt in the garbage can." No bigger duck in boxing history. It's one thing when we talk and we see like talk about Manny Pacquiao's 80-20 deal, and it's like, yo, he didn't really want to fight him, but he will if you throw a crazy amount of money out somebody, you know, or Adrian Brown asked for $10 million. You can't duck no more than just throwing the belt in the garbage can.
And the WBC belt of all the belts, too, that's a nice looking one.
So if you want to do your homework, read about Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. It's really messed up. Riddick Bowe messed up his legacy with that one. I mean, it would have been it's one of those fights that never happened that should have happened. That's on the list of that could have been Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Like that's how big that fight was back then.
Yeah, I mean, and Lennox Lewis. I mean, Stewart was still training him when he fought Vitali, right?
Yes, he had him up to the end of his career. So he got I may be off on the dates, but he got with Emmanuel Stewart right around the first loss. So we're talking early 90s. And then he had him for the whole career. Yeah. Exactly. And once he got him in that whole career, man, I mean, the Rockman fight was a one-hitter quitter. Like in the heavyweight division, anybody gonna get clean knocked out. And on top of that, too, he was in Africa. Even Dan Rafael talks about like throughout that whole fight, he wasn't there. You can tell he was Hollywood status. He was and then he got to Africa and got cold cock. Ran that rematch back, and you saw the real Lennox Lewis. Yeah. But Manny Stewart got a hold of him, and that was it. But with this Tyson exhibition here, I'm excited. I want to see Tyson fight. Sure. I mean, I want to see the contracts worked out between him and Triller because that ain't been worked out yet. But I want to see as we close out here. I want to state the fact that I'll be interested, and I'm a fight fan. But at the end of the day, give me Holyfield.
Agreed. Lennox Lewis has got more publicity because of the broadcasting he does and stuff like that, though. So I can see where that fight sells and stuff. Will sell heavy. But no, Holyfield will sell more. I think. I think it will. All we got to do is have ESPN just run the flashback of the ear-biting fight, and everybody's all. No, not the ear-biting fight, but the first fight. The first fight will be enough. First fight should be enough. All you got to do is just show the ear-biting and Holyfield jumping up and pounding his feet and him pointing at his ear. You say you laughing? That's all you need to show is him jumping up and pointing. He's like this. Ah! You remember now as I do that? No, it's not that. It's just that you're so short, your feet are hanging when you do that, though. So it's like, no, on that note, we gotta put the show out here. Okay, sorry. Folks, if you check this out here, there could be Tyson and Lennox. I was just joking earlier that he ain't told me a short joke in like 3 years. So on the short joke, we got to end the show here. Sorry, I'm sorry. Womp womp. Okay, real talk though. I'm gonna say Holyfield again. I'm gonna say I will. Here's the thing. I will watch it. If it does come through. Now we're just seeing this as it's coming through here, but we know that Tyson got legal issues with Triller because they say they got a contract. Lennox Lewis could be saying, hey, I want to see this check too, and Holyfield wants that bag too because that's the biggest check that both these guys get. So I hope it happens because if it's Lewis first, that's fine. As long as Holyfield's in the picture following afterwards, that's fine with me. As long as it happens both. To your point, I think Holyfield was the one I was more excited for. First and stuff. Lewis, I'm happy because I've seen more Lennox Lewis these days from a boxing point of view and stuff. But we've seen the fight. You've seen the fight from 2002. You kind of know what to expect and stuff. Holyfield, the first fight, you didn't know. You still didn't know. I think by the halfway point, even though Holyfield was fighting a good fight, you still didn't know just off the first fight. So, so to me, there was enough intrigue on that first fight. The reason the second fight even happened. Unfortunately, the bite happened. Should have been a third fight. But if this is going to happen this route, I take the third fight any day. Yeah. I mean, so that's just us nitpicking, being nostalgic of our old heroes. Of course. Yeah. So now we're going to close this. Now we can close it up. Yeah. I just happen to see that here. See, that's the cool thing about the internet and, having your smartphones on you. Stuff breaks and stuff happens. It may not happen, but hey, while we're recording, I'm going to say it. BNP Overtime. Glad you guys enjoyed your first into that. Yeah, so on that note, we're going to close out here. I don't need to say it again. Like I said, just click like and subscribe and click on the bell notification for Boxing Now Podcast. And also check it out on Apple and Spotify. And we'll be back next week
For my man Papa, I'm
Yep.
that dude named Dave, and we are out of here.
Good night, everybody.